Top 10 Best Bookshelf Speakers. Number 10. KEF LS50 Wireless 2. The KEF LS50 Wireless 2s are, almost without argument, the best sounding wireless bookshelf speakers ever made. The originals were terrific, but the new version takes things a step further by adding in metamaterial absorption technology, a new type of technology which dramatically reduces distortion and resonance. The result? Silky, delicious sound quality. And in terms of functionality, there have been dramatic improvements too. KEF used to rely on not one but two apps for control, that's been simplified to just one. And with a range of wireless connectivity from Spotify Connect to Chromecast, Apple AirPlay 2 and Roon, you'll be playing music in moments no matter what your source is. While we do applaud the KEF LS50 Wireless 2's full retailing at the same price as their predecessor, there's no denying that they are still massively pricey. That becomes even more of a problem when you consider that they are outperformed by less expensive speakers, like the Polk Audio Legend L200S. Those speakers. Number 9. PSB Alpha P5 Bookshelf Speaker. PSB's Alpha P5 are pretty popular, and for good reason. The unusual design, which places the full range driver on top, and the eyebrow-raising technology inside them solidifies Alpha P5's ingenuity against the competition. We think they sound superb, easily comparable to the smooth Warfedel Diamond 12.1. They have a relatively small footprint, a wide sound stage, and are a breeze to set up and use. For under $500, there are very few speakers that could beat them. We do, however, think that they require careful pairing in order to get the best sound. They have a relatively narrow power range compared to other speakers on this list. We found that Class D amplifiers, the nomenclature refers to the type of amp circuitry, and you'll find it listed in your amp spec sheet, gave the best results. Funnily enough, one of the best combos we came across was the Alpha P5S and the NAD D3045 amp. Book. Number 8. Audio Pro A26 Hi-Fi. There are surprisingly few bookshelf speakers that integrate into a multi-room system, which makes the Audio Pro A26 easy choice if that's what you want to do. The Swedish company aren't especially well known at the moment, but they make an excellent range of wireless speakers, all of which can talk to each other through Bluetooth and Spotify Connect. We think the Kanto Tuck are a much better overall option, but they are more expensive. The A26 are arguably among the most affordable wireless bookshelf speakers available, certainly the most affordable on this list. The problem is the sound. While the A26s deliver good volume and energy, they never feel quite in control of the material. In our opinion, the audio, especially in the mid-range, feels loose and fluffy, without the precision you get from the Kanto Tuck or the Totem Kin Play speakers. Number 7. Warfedel Diamond 12.1. Warfedel have been making speakers for over 8 decades. The Diamond 12.1s are their newest model, a completely redesigned version of the storied Diamond line. The 12.1s are a sophisticated, classy set of speakers with rich and engaging sound quality, far better than we'd expect at this price point. They are also surprisingly forgiving with low-quality sources, meaning you don't need to spend the earth on an accompanying amp to get the best out of them. They are bright and lively, with huge detail in the highs, and they really excel when playing music with a high dynamic range, like film soundtracks. The most glaring downside is that the Diamond 12.1s don't quite do enough to push past the competition. When put head-on against speakers from Q Acoustics, Audio Pro, and Fluence, it's clear that they lack that special something to elevate them. You could arguably spend less on, for example, the Q Acoustics 3020i speakers, and still get an excellent result. Number 6. Edifier R1280T. Edifier aren't regarded as a particularly high-end manufacturer, something we don't mean as a criticism. They produce excellent, affordable speakers and headphones, and in our opinion, the R1280T is one of the best they put out. It combines affordability and value with decent sound, and for smaller spaces, it is absolutely ideal. Unlike many of the speakers on this list, the R1280T are a powered set of speakers, in that each one contains its own amplifier. That makes it easy to connect up to the playback source using a simple RCA cable with no separate amplifier, similar to the Audio Engine HD6, although of course, these aren't wireless, and the audio quality of the HD6s is markedly superior. But you do get a hell of a lot for your money here, including remote, and the ability to fine-tune the sound using built-in EQ knobs. Audio quality is good, if not mind-blowing. Number 5. Q Acoustics 3020i. We weren't huge fans of the original Q Acoustics 3020 speakers, which we felt were overhyped. The 3020i speakers fare better, and crucially, they are small and compact enough to work exceptionally well as a pair of speakers for PC gaming. The sound is refined and clean, with crisp detail and improved bass. Despite the small size of the speakers, you get some decent low end here. Their size makes them a compelling option, better than similar models from the likes of Edifier and Fluence. One of the biggest problems with the Q Acoustics 3020i speakers was that at high volumes, the sound became brittle and harsh. We wouldn't recommend listening to these on high for long periods. They don't have the finesse or clarity of something like the ELAC Uni-Fi 2.0. Worth noting, there is a newer version of the speakers, the 3030i, but they shouldn't really be an option here. Number 4. Kanto Tuck Powered Speakers. We fully anticipate some grousing in the comments about how traditional passive speakers will always be better than active, wireless models, but our response to those folks is simple: you haven't heard the Kanto Tuck. Their air motion transformer tweeters result in absolutely extraordinary detail. We couldn't believe just how rich and sumptuous the sound quality was, and for once, a set of speakers more than lived up to the considerable hype. The Tuck aren't perfect. They offer a slightly dated Bluetooth version and we found it difficult to get a precise volume. But the sheer range of features, including a phono input for a turntable, makes up for it. The glorious design, along with the brilliant sound quality, make these even more of a winner. Number 3. Martin Logan Motion 35X Ti. The Martin Logan Motion 35X Ti is a significant improvement on the original 35X Ti. There's an AMT tweeter on each speaker, and the result is exquisite detail and realism. These are among the most elegant speakers we've tested, with distinctly more style than big bruisers like the Polk Legend L200S and SVS Ultras, below. The design is elegant, with the distinctive Martin Logan base plate and a sloped cabinet. High-end speakers need to look and sound the part, and these Martin Logans hit both. We first heard the Motion 35X Ti at an audio show and loved them instantly. Getting a pair into our testing room a few weeks later reinforced why we think they're the best high-end bookshelves right now, but it also showed us a few flaws. The midrange can be a little harsh at times, especially in the upper reaches. It doesn't have the power or punch of something like the LAC speaker above. Number 2. Fluence Signature Series Hi-Fi. Very few bookshelf speakers look as good as those offered by Canadian manufacturer Fluence. They also don't usually cost $200 a pair, which these do. With their black and yellow colorway and robust cabinets, these speakers are eye-catching and fun. But they are no lightweights, delivering one of the best audio experiences we can think of for under $300. We tested several speakers in this price range, and none impressed us more than the Signature Series Hi-Fi. Compared to inexpensive options like the Edifier R1280T, they really shine. We did sometimes feel like the sound was overly bright, not to the point of harshness, just with a little bit too much emphasis in the high end. It meant that they were slightly fatiguing after a few hours. But that's a common problem with inexpensive speakers, and it's something that can be mitigated by treating your room with soft surfaces, like couches and curtains. Number 1. ELAC Uni-Fi 2.0. We don't think you'll find a better or more versatile speaker than the new ELAC Uni-Fi 2.0. The second version of designer Andrew Jones speakers is just immense, offering one of the biggest, punchiest, and most enjoyable soundscapes we've ever come across. Whether we were listening in our oversized home theater testing room, or a small office, these speakers performed brilliantly. We were also particularly impressed with how easily they moved between hi-fi and home theater systems. They sound just as good with a stereo amp as they do with an A/B receiver. Jones completely redesigned these speakers from the original, and it really shows. Our previous title holder, the Bowers & Wilkins 600 and SIXS, would need a truly special challenger to unseat them. ELAC and the Uni-Fi 2.0's managed to do it, producing what we think is one of the best speakers around. We would say that one downside of these speakers is that they aren't really suitable for beginners. With their big sound and sizable price, they may not be ideal for those just dipping a toe into the world of hi-fi. Fortunately, there are plenty of less expensive alternatives, including the excellent Fluence Signature Series, below. Check out the description for more information in latest price.